Hey everyone, welcome to PyNet Labs. And in this video today, we are going to talk about the troubleshooting steps which you can follow in Windows operating system. So let's get started. Let me share my screen with you all. So as you all can see over here on my screen, we are just going to discuss that how we can troubleshoot the network issues which are there over the devices, which mean to say, suppose if we are using Windows machine and if we are getting some network errors, we are not able to connect the internet. So how we can actually troubleshoot that? For that, the very first step is I'll let you know something which you need to check. You need to just press Windows and R together and you need to follow ncpa.cpl over here. So once you're going to hit enter, you will be redirected to the prompt box over here, which says network connections. Now, inside this network connections, guys, you can see the GUI interfacing of all the network adapters which are there on the base machine. As in, you can see here, we got the Wi-Fi network to which currently I'm connected to. And there are two other virtual network adapters. We have VMware Network 1 and VMnet 8. So these are two by default virtual network adapters, which comes up when you are going to install VMware on the base machine. But anyhow, let's try to see how we can troubleshoot all these things. Now, suppose if you are looking forward to check the information about whatever the IP address you are going to have on this connected network, on which network you are connected, what is the IP you are using, what is going to be the subnet mask, and a lot more things to check on that.
If you enjoyed the content of the video, don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe to our channel.
So before we proceed on this, let's verify some CLI functioning that how exactly we can just verify all these things. So you need to open up the CMD. So once your CMD is going to be up this side, now on the CMD, you just need to run a command which goes like ipconfig. So you need to run this command ipconfig and you need to hit enter. So this command is basically going to give you the information about all the network adapters which we have discussed and we have seen on the GUI of the device. If you want to see and verify the same thing, that's one of the reason I have shown you the GUI by going to the ncpa.cpl first. You can see I'm getting three network adapters this side. So from all these three network adapters, you can see the name VMnet1, VMnet8, and Wi-Fi is also there. So in the same way, when we are going to run this command that is ipconfig, so this command will let you know about the, you can say, the Windows operating system to display and manage the configurations of network interfaces, including all the adapters, including, Ethernet adapter, including the Wi-Fi adapter, and all the network connections which are going to be here. So when we are going to run this command on the command prompt, that is ipconfig, which I have highlighted over here, as you can see. This command is something which provides you the information about network settings of local computers, such as IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, what is the DNS server address. So whatever the network adapters which are going to be there inside the base machine, every other interface, or sorry, every other network adapter is going to be displayed here. As you can see, if I am going to check the Wi-Fi adapter here, which is wireless LAN adapter Wi-Fi, as it is saying that the specific domain name it is showing me is domain name and the IPv4 address I'm getting on my device is 192.168.1.4. The default gateway is 192.168.1.1 and the subnet value is also there. But anyhow, that's not the complete information. But in case if you're looking forward to get the complete information about this network adapter, then we just need to follow one more command that is ipconfig. Let me show you and verify this thing again on the GUI as well. So back on the GUI, if I'll go in the Wi-Fi, I'll double click this side and I'll go in the details as it is showing me the default gateway is 192.168.1.1 and the IPv4 address I'm getting is 192.168.1.4 here. So I'll back again on the CLI and now I'll let you know the another command. So this command ipconfig will give you a brief information, but in case if you are looking to get a complete detailed information, then you need to follow this command ipconfig / and then you need to add alt. Now, once you're going to execute this command, which is ipconfig /all, in this command, you will be able to see all the window configurations or all the information which is about the network configs of all the network interfaces on the base machine, because it is going to provide you a very comprehensive list for the network related information, which is there for each and every network adapter, including both the IPv4 as well as IPv6. Now see guys, if I'm gonna follow the same part which we discussed in the last part, here you can see wireless LAN adapter that says Wi-Fi. And here you can see the physical address. That means the MAC address is also coming up. If you want to verify 7412B3, you can go in the GUI and you can check that 74B312. And not only this one, after that it says EF1EA7. So here you can see EF1EA7. So that's the MAC address which we can verify. Is DHCP server enabled? Yes, it is enabled. Auto configurations are enabled. Yes, it is also following an IPv6 link local address. And the preferred IP as of now it is using is IPv4. Subnet is this value. Lease time is also it is showing you that this is the time when the DHCP lease will renew and released. And the default gateway is also there in front of you, as well as you can see the DNS server. And the address for the DNS server is also coming up in here. So that's how we can check the information about the network adapters we are going to have in the CLI as well as on the GUI by going on the run box and writing the command ncpe.cpl. So here, if you want to deploy any kind of static IP, let's suppose by default, this Wi-Fi adapter is getting the IP address by DHCP server, which you can verify by going in the properties. So here I'll click on the IPv4 address. I'll double click here. Now you can see obtain IP automatically. Just because I'm getting the address automatically from the DHCP server. And if I want to give the IP statically, so I need to follow this step and I need to write the IP, subnet, and the default gateway, and whatever the preferred DNS server which we are going to use over here. So that's one command which can help us in checking out the information about the network adapters. If you are looking for the brief details, you can follow ipconfig. If you are looking for more detailed and descriptive information, in that case, you need to follow the command that says ipconfig/all, which will show you the entire detail output. So over here, you can just simply say in this part that this ipconfig/all command will provide you an extensive amount of information about all the configuration on network adapters of your base machine, which is a very valuable information for network troubleshooting and diagnosing the connectivity issues and verifying other network kind of issues which can come up inside the network. So that's one way where we can check the information about the network. So once you check the information and still you can see that your internet is not working in that case, what the next step you can follow is you can try to use the ping command. So we have a ping command, which is basically a network utility tool or a kind of very important command in networking just to test the reachability of the network or any host machine if you are trying to check. Suppose if I'm going to say ping and I will mention 192.168.1.1, that's my gateway. So if I'll hit enter, so I'm getting the responses over here, right? So this ping command is just a kind of tool which is helping me to figure out that I am having the reachability with the address. And it is measured in the round trip time for packets just to travel from source to destination and back. So quite fundamental tool for troubleshooting network connectivities and diagnosing the network issues. So it can be useful in scenarios where you are looking forward to check the network reachability, testing the host name resolutions, and sometimes it is used for measuring the latency because it can be used to measure the round trip, the time you can see latency between the source and destination. So this information is very valuable for, network performance and monitoring. So high latency can indicate network congestions and other kind of issues which can come up in the network. So we need to take care of this thing whenever we are deploying or whenever you are using the ping utility command. So it can be useful in checking the packet loss, testing the network configuration, diagnosing the connectivity issues, and monitoring the network performance. There we are going to use this ping command, which is quite helpful when we are just, checking out the connectivity and reachability with any kind of source to destination. So some network devices and systems may be configured to block ICMP traffic, but you may not always get a response even if the host is reachable. So additionally, firewalls and security policies may affect the behavior of ping command. But yeah, anyhow, in that kind of scenario, you have to look forward the policies as well, that which particular policy is affecting the ping command that it is not working. But in case if you are getting request time out here, that means you are not getting the reachability, which shows that there is no connectivity. So this is how we can check with the ping command. Then again, we have another command that is traceroute. So we say traceroute and whatever the route you want to trace. So it's just a command traceroute, which is basically useful in scenarios where we want to test the network packets, that how the packets are flowing. Suppose that if there are three devices, router 1, 2, and 3 in between, and I'm trying to run the command like a trace route 192.168.1.3, and 1.3 is the IP of the router number 3, and at the same time the source IP from the router number 1, which I'm giving is, let's say, 192.168.2.1. So in that case, how many routers will fall apart in between? That we can check it by using the traceroute command in the network, which is quite useful in analyzing the network traffic. So that's the use for traceroute command. It is somewhat going to work by sending a series of UDP and ICMP packets with incrementally increasing the time to life, that is TTL values. And as each packet reaches the router, the TTL is decremented. And when it is going to reach 0, the router send back an ICMP time exceed message. And this is how the trace route command can be used. So if you want to see that, how we are going to use, so you just need to say trace route. And let's say I want to trace the route for www.google.com. So it's trace RT over here in Windows machine. So you just need to write trace RT, not trace route. Trace route is basically for virtual environments, like we have virtual PCs on GNS and even G machines. Over there, we need to use trace route. But you can see now it's following the command and sending the series of UDP and ICMP packets. And accordingly, it is incrementally increasing the TTL values as each packet is going to reach every router. The TTL value will get decremented, and when it will be received and when it will be reached at 0, the router send back an ICMP time exceed message. So that's how we can use this trace route command, which is quite helpful in scenarios where we can trace the route for the network. So as you can see, it's done and it's showing me that the route trace is being completed. So that's one way of tracing the routes in case if we are looking forward to check that how the data is flowing from where to whatever the source to destination we have. Now, once we are done with the CLI part, we have another command which you can use. Sometimes what happens is the very first step in network troubleshooting is always to ping with the gateway. As we try to ping with the gateway, if you can see, again, I'm trying to ping with the gateway 192.168.1.1. So I'm getting the responses, which means I'm reachable till my router. Now, after that, you can check whatever the IP which is there over the router, any other IP you have associated, are you able to ping or not? So anyhow, if you are not getting the responses, that means there is a connectivity issue. But at the same time, you can use the command ping and you can select any IP from the loopback range, let's say 127.0.0.1. So if you are getting the IP addresses from, you can say, this one, the loopback IP, and any address which you are going to use from the range of loopback. In that case, if you are getting the responses, so that means your NIC card is working functionally fine. You can use any IP. Let's suppose that I'll change it to 127.2.1. You are getting the responses. So there is a complete range, guys, which is given for the, you can say, loopback IP that goes like 127.0.0.0 to 127.255 at 127.255.255.255. Any particular IP, if you are going to select and try to ping on the command prompt from your base machine, that specifically means you are trying to check the loopback connectivity, which means it's something this IP is reserved for the NIC card of the network of for whatever the base machine you are going to have over the network device. So if you will try to ping with the loopback IP, if you are getting the responses, that exactly means that your connectivity is up and you don't need to worry on that. That means your NIC card is working functionally fine. In case if you are not getting responses from the loopback IP, which is the range which I have written 127 to 127.3 times 255, you are getting request timeout. That means that there is some connectivity issue in which you have to look forward to and check that your NIC card might not be working functionally fine. So that's one of the reason that we can say that our NIC card is not working and we are not getting connectivity with the real-time network. So that's one thing. And not only this one, you can also check the wireless settings as well. Apart from wireless settings, you can check the wired medium in case if you are connected with a wired medium, maybe the cable is damaged or something related to hardware can happen. So this is how we are going to troubleshoot in Windows machine. And that's how we will be using and deploying in the real-time networks as well if we are on the Windows machine. So that's how we exactly troubleshoot the network issues over Microsoft Windows. So I hope you all like it. So thank you for watching the video.